thought, when I came this afternoon, I saw the word senior. I asked myself, what am I going to talk about to a bunch of seniors? That was my thought. But then I said, okay, that's resilience. Unsure of what you're going to talk, unsure of what's going to happen next, that's the first step that we take. That was the step of resilience actually. So we're here. I'm actually the founder of the Harmony Way. People often see me today as a business owner, but that's not where my story begins. Like many Singaporeans, I started as an employee. In fact, Great Eastern was the last place of employment before I started my business. I was with Great Eastern for 9 years in the marketing department. I worked hard, collected my salary every month, and I thought, okay, this is success, I'm happily married, have 2 boys, and every day I knock off on time and spend time with the kids. I said, this is what it's supposed to be like, right? But inside, outside everything looks perfectly stable, but inside I felt something was missing, but I couldn't put a finger to it. But I kept asking myself, is this all there is? Just be a mom? Eventually when my sons grow up, get married, and then I'll be a grandma. One day, I made a decision that frightened me. I left the security employment. That's when I quit Great Eastern last year as an marketing executive to start my own business. People often think entrepreneurship is exciting, but actually in reality it's very, very scary because suddenly you don't have guaranteed income. There is no boss to guide you on what to do. No certainty that I am able to pay the next month's bill. Every success and every mistake suddenly belongs to me. I cannot push the finger to anyone else. But then that is where resilience really mattered. It wasn't one big dramatic moment that happened in my life. It was really waking up every morning after disappointments and choosing to continue with the life that I chose. There were months when business was slow. There were times I questioned, did I make the biggest mistake of my life by living a stable job? But resilience isn't about never feeling fear. It's about refusing to let fear make your decisions. Every failure made me stronger. And as an example to my 2 teenage boys, they see how I fight for my dreams every day. And that's how I want them to grow up. Every challenge shaped the person I was becoming. As my business grew, something unexpected happened. I realized it wasn't just a business that I was building. I was building a life with purpose. So that was my quote, live as you dream. Many of us, we are just living as what is expected of us to do as typical Asians. If my late dad was alive, he would say, are you crazy? Why would you quit your job at 48 and say you want to start a business? But then, when I told him I quit my job, the first thing he asked me was, financially, are you stable? I said, can. He said, okay, since you're happy, go ahead. I never expected that from my late dad because he was a typical Teochew Asian. He would say, work hard, work hard. So when I quit my job, I was like, he was the last person I wanted to share with because I know I'm going to get a earful from him. But he actually says, okay, go for it. Yeah. So today, I still run my business, but then, I know what it's like to wonder whether there's more to life because I'm living that kind of life. And that's what I want to, inspire people around me. My resilience wasn't just for me. It prepared me to help others. I'd like to leave you with this. People often think resilience means being strong. I really don't think so. I think resilience really means choosing to take one more step even when you're unsure. When my dad passed on from lung cancer last year, it hit me really hard. But then, much as it pains me, but I'm glad I had that time I quit my job. And I could spend the remaining 3 months of his life really with him, accompanying him with all his appointments, and just being there for him that when he needs me. Resilience is really choosing to take one more step when you're unsure. Every one of your journey may look different from mine. Maybe you're rebuilding after a setback. Maybe you're caring for your family, like what I first used to do. Maybe you're thinking about something new, Whatever season it is, don't underestimate the power of one small step. Because resilience isn't about never failing. It's really getting back up and starting again. The life you are meant to live begins on the other side of the hardest decision you ever make. And I leave you my quote, be as you dream. Thank you.